You know, I normally call my studio the House of Eldridge. Well, today it's being renamed the Temple of Tilbury because I've got Charlotte Tilbury here, who anyone who knows anything about makeup artists will know that she is a phenomenal talent. She's a world-renowned makeup artist who does so many shows, campaigns, covers. You'll know her work so well without even realising that you knew her work. Whether you've seen a look that you've loved on Scarlett Johansson or Kristen Stewart or J-Lo or so many other people, you'll know her work from all the fashion shows and campaigns anyway. So I've done a blog post about her, which I'll link to, so you can go and have a look at her work and you'll say, oh my God, she did that, she did that, she did that, she did that. Yeah, she's a true expert, and I'm so thrilled to bring her talent to you. So here we go.
I'm so excited to be here today in Lisa's studio. It's such an honour to be here. I'm such an admirer of Lisa. She's one of the most incredible makeup artists I know. I've admired her work for the last 20 years when we first met backstage at the fashion shows, when we were both assisting the makeup artist Mary Greenwell, and it was such an exciting time to kind of enter the industry then, when it was all the big supermodels and it was Naomi, Kate, Amber, Shalom, you know, you name it, and their rock star boyfriends. It was just so much fun and so exciting. And Lisa and I started our careers back then, and I have created this look from this month's French Vogue, which is a picture of Kate Moss, who I am a huge fan of. She, I think, really encapsulates. She is a beauty of our time. She is the beauty of our time, I think. So on the day we use Christian Dior products, but today I'm going to use a few products from my kit just to mix it up a little bit, and I hope you like it. So this is the moisturiser that I used to create that fabulous luminous skin. Cara, darling, has gorgeous skin, as you can tell, and I'm a great believer that if you have beautiful skin, one must show it off and just conceal where needed. So redness around the nose, a bit of darkness around the eyes, etc. So we've popped on that gorgeous thick moisturiser. I'm using these 3 concealers, which are called Maximum Coverage by Estée Lauder, and it's a mix that I've always used. Actually, I've just always, for 20 years of my career, I've actually used these products. They're just a great combination. These 3 concealers together, mixed together, sort of seem to suit pretty much every skin tone apart from dark skin tones. So they're a bit of a kind of secret of mine that I've really seen me through the best part of my career. I mix them in with a little bit of a very rich moisturiser to really thin them down so that you never get too heavy. As I've blended these 3 together, I'm just going to pop a bit, turn you that way, and put a little bit around the nose. And then I like to use my fingers, because we're creating quite a dewy skin. The warmth of your hands just blends it in so nicely into the skin, so it sort of ends up looking seamless to the skin. So I'm just patting in a little bit of the concealer underneath the eyes, which is where I feel like it needs it. A little bit up here, because there's a little bit of pigmentation difference just there. It's really fantastic. It's such a thick product, this Maximum Coverage, but if you use a really rich moisturiser as a base, the rich moisturiser just makes it melt and makes it blend in seamlessly with the skin, so it looks like you've barely got anything on. It just looks like perfect skin, but you get that wonderful coverage that one needs to block out any dark circles. I love these products. Okay, so now on Cara, and also I did the same thing on Kate, is just in here, I like to put a little bit of this Tom Ford under eye brightener just in here, just to illuminate these little dark circles that are kind of sort of coming through. Or, you know, quite often people have a deep socket underneath their eyes, so just to kind of bounce the light out of there, just to get rid of any of them, put a little bit of that on. So I just like to pop that on there underneath the eyes, in that deep hollow that you get underneath your eyes, and then just blend that in a little bit, and then again tap 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 with your finger, so you just get rid of, sometimes I take off the excess with a bit with my finger. That all looks fantastic. Look at me, darling. Great. Beautiful, seamless skin. Right, now I like to start by doing, with this look, I like to start by doing the mouth first, because I think that the mouth is the focal point, and then you can sort of see, once you've done something like a red lip, once you've done the red lip, you can then see how much contouring you need, how much eye colour you need. It's almost like you can build the face around the lip. So I'm going to use a MAC red lip liner with Ruby Woo lipstick and a little bit of orange lip mix to pump up the colour, to create that fabulous orangey red lip. I always use a lip pencil because it gives you, it's a great way of tracing the shape of the lip that you want to create. So now I'm going to cheat with a lip liner. I'm going to give you that, try and create the heart. Well, Kara's got beautiful lips, but really give you that heart-shaped lip. I can just turn you that way. And if you need to sort of find out where your shape is, sort of can smile, see how far down, smile again. And if you make a mistake, a little pointed cotton bud with a bit of moisturiser is your best friend. So with a heart-shaped mouth, you sort of want to go kind of quite narrow in at the corners and then really up into that lovely heart-like shape. So I'm going slightly over Kara's lip line. So now we've done the outline of the lip to cheat the heart-shaped Kate Moss effect onto Kara. We're now going to fill in with a bit of Ruby Woo lipstick. And now we're just filling in. I always like to use a square lip brush because I think it helps a lot. It gives you much more precision when doing the lips. Once I've filled in the lip, I'm now going to add a little bit of the orange Lipmix by MAC. What we've done is outlined the lips with the red lip pencil, filled it in with the blue red, and now we're bringing the orange to just give what the orange is just an orange red. So by putting that in the center of the lip, it gives you even more of a pout. And that just adds a little bit more volume to the lip by putting a kind of lighter color in the center of the lip. So now I'm going to use this product called Shade and Illuminate by Tom Ford. It's a fantastic product because it's this wonderful, it just gives you the natural contour of your bone structure. So it actually, what it does is gives you this wonderful kind of facial architecture. So Kara, could you please suck in your cheeks? Look straight to camera, there we are, marvellous. And you can see how that naturally shows you kind of the contour that you want to create of your cheekbones, to kind of really hollow out your cheekbones and create that wonderful architecture definition, which Kate Moss has and Kara does too, but we're going to kind of accentuate it. So we take a little bbit of the darker shade from the Shade and Illuminate and just pop that underneath the cheekbone. And we also did it on the temples to just bring in the sides of the face. And then we also did it, and I'll blend it in a little bit more, we also did it, go like that, darling, under, just to kind of define your jawline. So go right up, turn to the side, darling, right up here into that, there we go. And that just gives you more definition, a la Kate Moss. And now we're using popping a little bit of the illuminator on. The illuminator I would always do with your fingers. Just bend it and we just pop a bit of that, and that just really makes the cheekbones pop, and it just it has this most wonderful, almost kind of pearl like natural shine. And you can see as I move Kara's face, the way that that captures the light just really brings out the kind of the point of those cheekbones just right there. So now what we've done on Kara, we've bleached Kara's eyebrows, which is what we did on Kate on the shoot. We bleached her eyebrows because we want the focal point to be the lips and to everything else to sort of blend in seamlessly, all this kind of beautiful contouring, just it all be about the mouth. Now we're going to use these two pencils by MAC, Lingering and Fling, that are real winners. They're kind of a staple in my kit. I've used them for 20 years and they really just suit everyone. I don't know what I'd do without them, to be honest. We're going to slightly fill in the brow. I'm going to use a little bit of Lingering. What we did on Kate was just to kind of enhance her shape, so you kind of have that, you still get the beautiful definition of a kind of arched eyebrow, but it's in a soft honey colour, so the focal point really remains on the lip. This Fling pencil just gives it a lovely tiny little bit of definition to your brow in a very soft caramel honey tone. I used to do this a lot on Jennifer Lopez years ago when we did the Vuitton campaigns. We used to always bleach her eyebrows and then fill them in with a little bit of Fling. Now I'm going to curl the eyelashes to just really open up the eye. So now we're going to use a Paris Berlin off cream white pencil. By putting a little bit of this inside the eye, look up for me, darling, it will just give you a little bit more of that kind of doe eye. There we go, marvellous. I'm just going to pop a bit of these DermaColor cream, they're not cream eyeshadows, they're used for covering up scars, but I'm going to pop, I just absolutely love the colour because they're kind of a little bit sort of, they're chocolate brown, but they've got a little bit of grey in them. They kind of mimic the natural colour that people sometimes have around their eyes. And I'm literally using my Paula Dorf brush and popping a little bit of that on the back of my hand to take off the excess. Close your eyes, and then literally almost just popping on the socket on both of them, really easy. You get another brush, close your eyes, and blend that in, literally like a windscreen wiper, backwards and forwards. It's so simple. Blend it into the socket, upwards and out in circular motions. And then we're going to use a Hakuhodo small brush with the same product, and we're just going to put that just to create a little bit of a natural shadow underneath the eye. Pop that, again, backwards and forwards motion, really simple, just blending it into the skin. And it just creates a lovely natural shadow to just give depth. It's got a natural smoky eye, almost like a no makeup smoky eye. So just blending in to give that little kind of natural smokiness that we want, finishing that off. There we go, beautiful. Look at me, look at the camera. Done. And we are going to just pop on a little bit, now we've curled the eyelashes, of chocolate brown mascara. Really look down, just at the root of the lash, and do a little bit, and then picking it up a little bit more, dragging it out of the outer corner just to give you a little of that Kate Moss feline lift that she naturally has. And now the final touch that Kate naturally has a few little sputterings of freckles on her nose, but they sort of faded as she's got older, and we call it the youth stick. So now I'm going to use Hodgepodge by MAC, and we are going to put a few little freckles just dotted across. I think just they're charming freckles, like little sun kisses. We did them on, they were a big hit, we did them on Penelope Cruz for the American Vogue cover of this year. I think it came out, was it this year or last year? And then if you go too heavy with a pencil, just dab your finger into the skin, or kind of soften them. And the last freckle. And there we have it, the classic quintessential French look. It's a kind of androgynous take. I think it's, you know, really beautifully sculpts, brings out your eyes and your cheekbones. That kind of gives you that facial architecture with this wonderful pop of a fantastic red French lip. I think of sort of Yves Saint Laurent when I think of this look. It's a universally flattering look. I think this would suit everyone and make everyone's skin look glowy and beautiful. So I think it's, even though it's a very strong editorial look, I really think it's something that would translate beautifully from editorial runway to the real way. Cara, what do you think?
I really like it. I think it's very, like you said, a very French look, and I really like it.
Good, darling. We've won. Fantastic. Paris, Paris.
Brilliant. That's the ending.